Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Six and Out podcast, powered by Sports News Blitz. I am, of course, Dejan, and as you could probably guess, that is not Bilal. That is with me. Unfortunately, he had to cancel. It's been a chaotic morning. We nearly didn't get an episode out. However, we thankfully have, thanks to a good friend of mine from Leeds Trinity University, Luke Halliwell, being gracious enough to take up his time to be able to be on this podcast. So, thank you very much for joining me, Luke, and thanks for getting an episode out.
No problem. Happy to be here.
Perfect. All right. So, of course, the main thing we have to talk about, Test cricket, the Anderson Tendulkar Trophy, India versus England. It's been an unbelievable series so far. Every Test match going to 5 days. First question that I do want to ask you about, of course, there's been a lot of talk about the Test series, Test cricket going to 4 days, whether it should be cut shorter. I've never really believed it because I still feel like Test cricket is alive and well. What are your thoughts on that? And do you think this is perfect for the perfect show for Test cricket, that it should still be 5 days and it shouldn't change?
Of course it is. Test cricket's always been 5 days. It's just how it is. It's a lot better. And you've seen this series, all 4 games have gone to the final day. The one at Old Trafford, which we'll speak about later, we didn't get a result. England didn't even bat for the second time. So Test cricket is still alive and well. I really do think this series, how brilliant it's been, showing that it is still alive.
Yeah. Perfect. All right. So obviously in the last episode, it's been a while since we recorded one. We only talked about me and Bilal only talked about the first Test match. However, today we've got 3 more Test matches to go through. Let's talk about the second Test match first of all. Rejog people's memories. Obviously, India won that one, thankfully for me.
Well, that's a raised in my memory, that one.
not from mine. The third Test match got erased from mine. But obviously, the main talking points, India's introduction of a certain fast bowler named Akashdeep, who took 10 wickets. How important is it for him? Because obviously he's been in Test cricket for a while. He's not really had that breakthrough performance. However, this performance took everyone by surprise and kind of forced everyone to look at him. How important was this for him, and obviously for India getting back in the series at 1-1?
No, Akashdeep were brilliant in that second Test. Obviously, a lot of talk about Jasprit Bumrah missing the second Test.
Yeah.
India were going to struggle a little bit. Akashdeep just took that role perfectly, didn't he? Just absolutely brilliant. 10 wickets in the 2 innings. He got 4 in the first innings, 6 in the second innings.
Yeah.
And 4 direct balls as well. 1 LBW. Just absolutely fantastic. He really needed that. He put him right back in the limelight with the Indian bowlers.
Absolutely. It was great to watch as well. I mean, that wiki took a Joe Root on day 4, where it just came in and just nipped away. It was a dream delivery.
They were absolutely excellent. You really needed that. And India needed that as well, because India's bowling attack were getting questioned as well as England's. And without Jasprit Bumrah, people thinking, where are India going to get the wickets from? And he just took 10 wickets. Brilliant.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I didn't think I thought we were done after the first Test, but yeah, thankfully
I thought you were done, to be honest.
Yeah.
I thought you were done, to be honest, but then he just pops out of nowhere and takes 10 wickets.
Yeah, perfect. I should have just played the whole series, but no. Obviously, he took 10 wickets. However, he didn't get man of the match. That went to India's captain, the Prince, Shubman Gill. Was it 269? Was it in the first innings? Then 140 in the second innings. It's absolutely unbelievable series he's just had in general. I mean, the numbers he's putting up are incredible. And I mean, to bat like that, I know obviously it's different conditions because and this Test match, this series has been more flat wickets, so it's been easier to bat on. However, I mean, the way he played was just unbelievable. He just took the fight to them, and he really matured, I think, as a captain. You know, a lot of question marks about this India team going into this series. Well, how important is it for him to prove them people wrong that he can lead this team forward and that he can be the star batsman in this team?
Well, first of all, he was absolutely brilliant, wasn't he? He deservedly got man of the match. He was like a brick wall, wasn't he? There was no way of getting through him. The first Test in Headingley obviously got some critics for his captaincy, but he's going to have tough times. You know what I mean? He's just become the captain. It's a big shoes to fill. I think the whole series has been absolutely fantastic. He's been brilliant. I think he's learning more as a captain. Yeah, he's gonna have tough times, but he's been absolutely excellent. With the bat, he's so strong. He's so good, India played brilliantly in that second test, but his run scoring is what completely took the game away from England.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. That I felt like the way he played. I also feel like his batting has kind of helped him grow more as a captain, because I feel like as batsmen who are captains, if you're struggling for runs, then people are questioning you a lot more, and then it starts to play on your mind. But I feel like it's helped him just kind of mature and feel like, okay, I am settled in this team. I know that because obviously he got dropped in Australia for not playing particularly well, but I feel like this is very important for him to say, like, I'm the main part of this team. I'm gonna try and build this team around me, and I'm gonna go forward and push forward as captain.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, well, obviously with him being the captain, a lot of the responsibility falls on him, and losing Kohli and Sharma, who are both key batters. There's a whole India have an unbelievable line of batters, but Gill, Rahul, Pan, Jaiswal, obviously he's a bit younger, but they've taken it upon themselves that now they are now the main men. Especially Gill being the captain, he's the main man, and he's taking that responsibility. Really, he showed it at Edgbaston and doing it.
That's what I've been surprised with India, because I went into this series thinking it was like we were going to really struggle because it's a very inexperienced team. But a lot of the more senior players now, they're just like, you can't really call them senior players because they haven't played that much Test cricket anyway, and they're still young. But they're really like stepping up and showing that they're the real leaders of this team. So you got to give them.
They're coming into the run now, really, aren't they?
Definitely.
It's like they're coming into the run. Obviously, they're really experienced. You like that stat from the Old Trafford test. England's bottom four batters have scored more first class runs than India's top four, which is absolutely crazy. But it just shows that they're younger, but they're coming into the run now, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. Shows you how young that team is. All right, moving into the third test. This is the one that I've tried to just erase from my memory altogether. I'm blaming Bilal for the third test because he texted me at tea on day 5 saying that India should be able to win this game from here, and then we lost a wicket straight after that. So I'm blaming Bilal for that loss.
Which wicket was that?
It was Siraj's wicket. It was Siraj's wicket. It said, Jadeja's, no matter what, Jadeja's proved himself and India should win this. And then Siraj got bowled, and it broke my heart watching it. But a lot of things came out of that third test. Tensions started to flare up a lot more. We had a lot of arguing at the end of day 3 between Shubman Gill, captain, and England batters, openers, and Zach Crawley and Ben Duckett. What do you think about that? Because I mean, what was it? They had 10 minutes left in the day, and India could only bowl 1 over because they kept stopping the play. It's just, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if I like that.
Time waste, mate. It's fine. It's 1 day. I think if it's you that's doing it, you love it. If it's against you, somebody who's frustrated, it was taking the mick though. It really was taking the mick. And I quite like the whole needle. I think it needed a little bit of that, and obviously the final 2 days of the test were absolutely brilliant, wasn't it? And that sort of kick-started it. I like it, but I do think England really took the mick, and obviously England got top of the points in the World Test Championship table, and people are saying why England and not India, but if you look at that, you can sort of say why. I think, both teams slowed the game down, let's be honest. But I think they took it to a completely different level, didn't it?
Yeah, but I don't know if I've ever seen a team manage to only get 1 over in the last 10 minutes. I don't think I've ever seen that before. It's like every ball, Crawley was just like, no, stop. And then I was just sitting there. I was just sitting there waiting, just like, oh my God, like can you just hurry up? Crap.
Yeah.
I guess you got to do whatever you got to do to try and stay in.
Yeah, you do. I think that was so far though.
Yeah. Obviously, heartbreak at the end for Jadeja. Played an unbelievable innings in that final part of the Test match, up against England's bowling lineup in the likes of Archer, Stokes, and Bryden Carse. However, unfortunately, he got left stranded because of Shoaib Bashir's I'm just going to say it, lucky wicket on
course
Mohammad
it was.
Siraj. That, oh my God, he absolutely middled it as well. Middled it straight off the bat. I was like, yeah, perfect, great, solid defense. And you just see it start spinning, and you know when it's one of them in slow motion, where like, as it's spinning to hit the stumps, you're just sitting there, like you're just standing there, like, you got your hands on your head like this. You're like, this is actually happening. And then he started running. I was like, oh, for God's sake, this is awful. But I mean, a word on Jadeja because of how well he batted, and how well he's just batted in this series, obviously, because it's been unbelievable for him coming in at number 6, number 7. It feels like India have just like had good starts, then had a collapse every time. But he's managed to just be that kind of rock in that middle order to stay in there and ensure that India try and progress further in this series. How impressed have you been with him, both as a batsman and as a bowler?
I think he's had an unbelievable series. More so, I think he's been brilliant with the ball, but more so with the bat. He's got a handful of half centuries, been brilliant. It just gives them that foundation because, especially in the early Test matches, the India tail was struggling with the bat. That way, mainly in Headingley, that's where England won that game. But I think he's been absolutely fantastic. He's been brilliant with the ball as well, but with the bat especially, been really impressive. And especially that knock at Lords, just fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, it's not been as easy for spinners in this series because of the flat pace.
No.
So
spinners are struggled.
Yeah, I don't really feel like he could do more with the ball because it is said it's flat wickets. You can only do so much as a spinner. But
no, of course not. Just tying down one end, didn't it, and just slow the run scoring down a little bit. You know, England when they get in the rhythm, they can be quite destructive, can't they? But I think Dejan has been fantastic, and that obviously that defeat at Lords, you just got to feel for him. Haven't you? He's done everything right. He's done everything right to win India that game, and it is looking at the ball just rolling slowly onto the stumps. But yeah, Jadeja were fantastic in that game. Really impressed with him.
Yeah, obviously we had obviously going to England now. Obviously it was a brilliant win for them. We actually had a comeback in that game. Jofra Archer hasn't played Test cricket in what, like, it's probably been like 3 or 4 years now at this point, isn't it? I mean, amazing for him to come back, and obviously it's like he's back like he never left. You know, some of the wickets that he took, the consistency of his line and lengths, the fear that he created with the short balls and everything. He just it's amazing to see him back. You know, it's been so long, and there's always that question mark about whether certain people, especially fake pace bowlers, how good they're going to be when they're coming back from an injury. But he's just been, since he's come back, he's just looked like the usual Jofra Archer, just terrorizing batting oppositions. Obviously, the Ashes is coming up. Do you feel like, how important do you think it is for England to make sure that he is fully fit and firing for the Ashes? Because in the past, England have struggled against Australia batsmen, the likes of Smith, Labuschagne, and Travis Head. Do you feel like someone like him, especially against a lot of left-handers, can be a real handful and help England maybe actually win in Australia?
Well, that's what it is. There's a lot of left-handers, and Jofra Archer's record to left-handers is brilliant, isn't it? I think he's massively important. I think he's a key player for England. He's one of the better players, especially one of the better bowlers. Him and Ben Stokes, you would say, are the best bowlers. But with Jofra Archer, it's fitness, it's whether he's going to be right. You've just got to make sure he's right for the Ashes, because even with Jofra Archer, sometimes the bowling attack for England looks a bit toothless. They desperately need him, because if not, they're going to struggle to take wickets. They need him fit. I don't think he'd be able to play 5 matches in a row, but if you can get 3-4 Test matches out of him, and you're getting a Jofra Archer that's at his best, then you're giving yourself the best chance to win.
Yeah, definitely. So it's massively important to make sure that he's fit and firing, because, as I said, even if he can get 3 or 4 Test matches out of him, that's still going to be massively important in terms of kind of shifting the balance to England's favour. However, I've not been able to. So let's go into the fourth test now, because again, more controversy, more problems between India and England, especially with how the test match ended. Before we go on to obviously going through the test match and a recap of everything, what do you think about the ending? Because obviously Stokes goes to try and shake their hand. Jadeja says no. They obviously want to try and get their hundreds, and then it's like, then what? Stokes just has a go at everybody, apparently. So, do you think it was a bad thing for Stokes to do that, or what are your thoughts on how that ended up happening?
I think Stokes was right to offer the handshake and try and set the draw. The game wasn't going anywhere. You can see it from that perspective, but the India batsmen were closing on a century. They've played a brilliant innings. They deserve to go for the centuries, and both of them deserved it. I think India are well within the right to say no. We want to get our hundreds. Jadeja, Washington Sundar, and that were Washington Sundar's first century, wasn't it?
Yeah,
India. Yeah. What a moment for him! It was quite emotional, wasn't it? I think well within the right. I don't like the whole sledging and saying you want to get a Test match 100 off Harry Brook and Ben Duckett, because they've just played for 4 hours with Jofra Archer and Brady Cast, Chris Wokes. Going at them, and they're still there. Yeah. So I don't agree with that. It crossed the line from Stokes. He'll probably just frustrated. We all get frustrated, don't we?
Yeah.
I think some people overreact and say stripping of the captaincy, like this and that. Just forget about it. But I think they deal well within the right to go for hundreds, and I'm quite glad that they did, to be honest, because England weren't good enough with the ball to bowl them out. And to be honest, if I were India, I'd have just said no, just bat it till end.
Yeah,
waste all the time. Just waste the time.
That would have been
just wasting the time. That would have been head loss, wouldn't it?
That would have been ultimate head loss from Stokes if he'd done that. But I don't really get it. Like, to be honest, at the time when he went to shake the hand, I wanted them to, because I wanted them to shake the hand, because I thought if one of them got out, then India might just collapse and again England might just try. But again, it's not Stokes's like, Stokes obviously went for the handshake and they said no. Like, deal with it. You still have 15 overs left. You still have 15 overs left in the day. You're not just going to like say, "Oh, we're not bowling anymore." You know what I mean? Like, I know
England were out of ideas, though, weren't they? They were completely out of ideas. They didn't know what to do. I think they were right offering for the draw, because it would just win the draw, wasn't it? Let's be honest. But no, I think good on India for staying strong and just getting your hundreds. They both deserved it.
Yeah. I mean, saying all that stuff about like, oh yeah, you're gonna get 100 off Harry Brook and Ben Duckett. Number one, if you're a Test match player, if you're a Test match batsman, yes, perfect. I if I was on 80 on and Harry Brook's bowling, I'm all for it. I'm like, yeah.
You give me Ben Duckett, I'll have Ben Duckett.
Yeah. What you're just gonna? I'd rather get 100 off Harry Brook than the Archer or something, because I might just get out. But yeah, and then he's saying all this sledging and stuff. It's like Stokes is the one who put Harry Brook into the attack. So why don't you just get someone else in or something? I don't know. But I just didn't like that sense of like entitlement from Stokes. I just didn't like that.
I think it was just frustrations, though, wasn't it? I think England thought the game were in England's hands, wasn't it? And India just took it away from them brilliantly. They defended so well. As well as them two, KL Rahul and Shubman Gill, all four of them deserve that recognition. You think when Wokes takes them to 2 wickets in the when England finished batting, I thought we're going to run out of time here. We're going to run out of time. And then as soon as Wokes takes them 2 wickets in the first over, I'm thinking, hey, we're on it. And then just them four absolutely brilliant, wasn't it? There were a few missed chances from England, a few drops. Quite hard matches, but really, India wasn't really in any danger, to be honest.
Yeah, to be honest, I won't lie to you. When them 2 wickets fell, I just put my head in my hands and just turned the TV off. I didn't want to watch it. But But yeah, amazing from Gill and KL, because I mean, even KL Raul this series, he's been such a rock for them, like just staying in there. Like when everyone else has been kind of playing a bit more aggressively, he's kind of just stayed in, just kept the England bowlers out, and I feel like it's allowed others to kind of play their more natural game. I mean, Gill's...
He plays like a proper. Oh, sorry, I'm sure he plays like a proper opening batsman, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He just protects your wicket, don't get out, and he can put his foot on the accelerator when he wants as well. I think he's looked really, because people questioning his average, weren't they, and it wasn't quite up to scratch.
Yeah.
Before the series, but during the series, the average has gone up, and he's been brilliant as well.
I mean, it's not been easy for him the last couple of years because he's been in and out of the team. He's been batting in different positions, so it's not been easy for him to kind of keep that kind of average up when he's been having to adjust to different kind of situations with the bat. But I mean, we talked about Gill obviously earlier. It's over 700 runs in the series already, and we still got one more Test match to go. It's just crazy, isn't it? Over 700 runs in 4 Test matches. You know, the double 100, 3 centuries, a double 100, obviously one failure, a couple of failures at Lords, obviously. But if he can get them firing again, do you think for the 5th Test, do you think they can draw this series if they have him firing again? Or do you feel like India putting too much pressure on him?
I would probably say the Test could go either way. But personally, I'm not confident with the condition that Ben Stokes is in. Don't know if Jofra Archer's going to bowl. So I do, and India have been brilliant. I think Shubman Gill showed in that knot at Old Trafford. England, maybe the Lords found a bit of a weakness in Gill. The ball nipping back in, LBW. But he straight away corrected it with that. No, I think Shubman Gill is fantastic, and I think he will play a massive part in what the series outcome is. If he bats like he has been doing, I think India will be in a really strong position. But we'll see. You don't know what will happen. But yeah, I think he's been brilliant. I think he's probably the best player of the series for me.
Oh yeah, massively. It's crazy. It's crazy with Stokes. Everyone talks about it like, oh yeah, Stokes is injured again. I don't think there's been a period in the last 5 years where Stokes hasn't been injured, and yet he's still bowled like 8 overs in a row. So Stokes could probably still bowl 15 overs with both his arms falling off and 2 broken legs.
I generally won't be surprised if he's playing the 5th Test.
He'll play this. I think he'll absolutely play this Test, and I could see him. I could definitely see him bowling another 15 overs in a row.
His arms will be falling off. Well, his legs will be falling off. His arms will be falling off.
Even still, I still feel like he'll just keep bowling, keep doing everything he can. Yeah. But obviously, talk about England in the 4th Test. One man who really stood out, as he has been doing for quite a while now, which has been awful as an India fan, is Joe Root. Past Ricky Ponting, now number 2 in the all-time Test leading run scorers. Amazing performer for the last couple of years. I feel like there was always that question mark of him when he first came in, that he was a good player, but he never really was able to convert the 50s into 100s. But in the last 3 or 4 years, he's just gone up a completely new level compared to everyone else. And there's only one person standing in front of him. And obviously that's Tendulkar. If he gets past Tendulkar, I might cry. But I do think he will soon. And
it's going to be close, isn't it? It's going to be close.
Oh yeah. Do you think he is? Where do you think he ranks in terms of the greats of the English game? Do you feel like as a batsman, do you think he's probably the best? Yeah. Obviously,
he's the best batsman.
Yeah. There's talk obviously of the likes of, Petersons, the Cooks, the Gowers in the past. But do you think even in terms of like cricketers for England, obviously Anderson, both of them, do you think he's on that level now? And do you think that do you think he's above that level? And do you think he's better than them all?
It's hard to judge different eras, isn't it? Obviously, as well, I've seen a lot of Root compared to not much of the players of the old days. So it is hard to compare. But he's a legend of English cricket. He's obviously the highest run scorer. Unbelievable. He's right up there. Whether he's the best player England have ever produced, there's a long list of players that can all be in that conversation. But I think the way he's adapted his game through the years, as you said, start of his career, got a lot of 50s, could never translate them to hundreds. Now every time he gets a 50, he seems to make it 100. So it's completely changed his game. The way he bats, he's always adapting. He's a brilliant player of spin. He's fantastic. Best player I've seen play for England, obviously. Not seen the olden days, but he's absolutely he's a brilliant batsman, and he thoroughly deserves the individual accolades he's getting. But obviously, he's such a nice guy as well, and that's what makes it better. He's not bothered about the records. When he comes to the end of his career, he will be. Let's be honest. He'll be delighted with what he's done in the game. But at the minute, it's just about winning. Just about winning. He wants to win this Test match. He wants to go and win the Ashes in the winter. I just think he's a fantastic batsman, and I really do hope he does catch tail. But obviously, you don't. But I mean, he's going to be really, really close. So if he keeps going the way he is, he probably will do it. But it's a hard ask. He's not getting any younger, but he's still producing lots and lots of runs.
Yeah, I think with his technique, because there are certain players that as they get older, they kind of struggle a little bit more to kind of handle the pressures and everything. But I think with his technique, it's so simple. I don't think it's going to affect him that much. So
he's just solid in it.
Yeah. Hopefully, I've just put the curse on him for the last test. So, but I probably have. He'll probably go and score a double now. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. You think about it. Like, even if the shoe was on the other foot about the whole thing, the whole handshake thing. If the shoe was on the other foot and say Joe Root's, I don't know, on 80 odd, and he's 15 runs off Tendulkar's record, they're not just going to, and say Shubman Gill went up for a handshake, they're not just going to say, no. They're going to want Joe Root to try and pass that record, you know what I mean? So I don't think
that's why I don't agree with this whole sledging from Stokes and England. It wasn't just Stokes. It were a lot of the England team. It were mainly Stokes that come out with the comments. But I think just good on India for staying strong and just combating, and both of them deserve them the Test match hundreds, and Washington especially. I think he were brilliant in that Test match the whole way through, especially with the ball as well. I don't really understand. That's one criticism of Shubman Gill. Why did he not bring Washington Sundar on earlier?
Yeah,
because he was out of a wicket. I'm sorry, a pitch that was we're getting nothing out of it. He managed to find a bit of drift, didn't he? And he obviously took 2 quick wickets. I thought through that entire Test match, he were brilliant.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy with him. I remember seeing him in 2017 or something, or 2018, just playing for India, and he was an 18-year-old kid. And now, you looked at it and it was yeah, this is India's next spinner for the next 10 years, and yet he's kind of not really been in the team since then, in and out of it. And this is the first time he's played 3 Test matches in a row, and it feels like he's just got better and better as the series has gone on. We always knew that he was a good bowler, but I just feel like his batting has kind of taken everyone by surprise with how well he's done. Because he doesn't, no disrespect to him, but he doesn't look like somebody the technique he has. It doesn't look like somebody who is a number 5, number 6 batsman. You look at him and say, yeah, he's probably a number 8, number 9. But he's just been able to get runs somehow. I don't know how.
That's like the modern cricketer now, though, when you start to see more players. Look at how long England's tail was. They had Brandon Carr batting at 10. So the players that you're all rounders, some of your bowlers, they are really good with the bat now. Washington is one of them, and he has been fantastic.
Definitely. Obviously, it was a massive draw for India to be able to stay in the series. Obviously, if they win the final Test match, they win the final Test match at the Oval. They managed to retain the Anderson Tendulkar Trophy, I'm pretty sure. And massively important. massively important for them to keep that draw and kind of keep the bowling out. Because as I said, when it was 0 for 2, I thought this could be done in a session. This could have been done in a session.
Well, it could be done by end of the day. Oh, didn't you really?
Yeah. But the way Shubman and KL batted to just stay in there, I think KL was unfortunate not to get 100 because of how much that ball from Stokes just went into the ground.
Oh, it was beauty, wasn't it? It was an absolute beauty.
No, it was terrible. It was terrible. It did hit the base of the stump for a short ball. But yeah, it was amazing for those two. And then, of course, Washington and Jadeja. I feel like the series is reaching its real climax now with everything that's been going on with the tension and everything going into the 5th Test match at the Oval. As an England fan, you look at the team right now, and it's looking very, very strong. However, there's a lot of question marks going into it, whether Jofra Archer will play another Test match. As you said, question about Stokes, England's bowling. Do you think there will be changes made? And if so, who do you think could be able to come in to help England win that final Test match or get anything out of it and win the series?
I think there should be changes made because the seam attack looks leggy. But I also thought that after Edgbaston, and they only brought in Jofra Archer. But I do think that Jofra Archer will drop out for this game. I think Tom will come back in. I think it's too much for Archer. He didn't look in his rhythm at Old Trafford. He looked frustrated. I think that'll be a change to make. Obviously, they've brought Jamie Overton into the squad. Whether he'll play or not, I'm not sure. I think Gus Atkinson should come in for Walks or Carson, and they might freshen up all three seamers. To be fair, as you said, Stokes, there's question marks about him, but he's Stokes, and he'll probably drag himself through it and still play, and probably injure himself even more.
He'll bowl 15 overs this time instead of 20. 15 overs in a row instead of 20.
But I think all three seamers should be replaced. Obviously, there was talk before about maybe Mark Wood coming into the squad. That's not happened. But yeah, I think especially Atkinson and Tom will come into the squad. Whether Jamie Overton plays, I'm not sure. I think definitely Carson and Archer need to sit out for the final Test.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting actually, because so you're saying Cars and Archer out of the team to then.
I would say you don't know what they're going to do, but Atkinson and Song in for Carson Archer.
Okay. It's a big
and maybe they might take Walks out as well, but I think Walks will play.
Yeah, because he's not exactly like the quickest bowler. So
he's not a quick bowler, is he? I think. Yeah. I mean, the chances that Archer could play if they're really going for it, but I just can't see it. I certainly definitely think Atkinson needs to come in. I'm a big fan of Gus Atkinson. I would like to see him play the final Test.
Do you not think it's a risk though for someone like him because he hasn't played in a while because of injuries and everything? But do you feel like England? Do you feel like England need to kind of make a change in the pace bowling? So
I think they definitely need to make a change. They looked really leggy, didn't they? It is a softer outfield. Stuart Broad was saying, wasn't it? It's a softer outfield, so it is harder to bowl on the Old Trafford pitch as it is a bit easier at Lords. That's why you saw Archer and Bumrah, the speeds from the Lords Test to the Old Trafford Test, and the speeds dropped about a mile and a half to 2 miles an hour, didn't they? Average speeds. So it is a bit leggy. That could be why. I'm sure they'll see how they all feel. But I think that Archer, I can't see Archer playing, and I can't really see Cars playing.
So do you think the top 7 will stay the same for England's
I think so, yeah.
So you go with the same team, but instead of Archer and Cars, you go with Tong and Atkinson.
I think that's what they'd do. If Archer's fit, I'd love to keep Archer in the team, but it's whether he's fit or not.
Yeah, it's a risk.
But I think the one change I want to see is Gus Atkinson in for Grinding Cars.
All right, cool. obviously now with India, it's a big question mark over a lot of things going into this final Test match. Gambhir again in the headlines after yesterday, starting an argument with the groundskeeper. He's a weird one, Gambhir. He's always had a fiery personality and everything. You just feel like, he starts so many arguments, feel like for no reason. But obviously, we don't know exactly what happened. But so they might have, the argument and the head loss might have been valid, but we just don't know. But going onto the field, talking about who will be in that 11, there's obviously huge question marks about whether Jasprit Bumrah will play. Rishabh Pant's obviously not going to be playing, which is a huge loss. Obviously, Jarrell will probably come in for him. But how important is it for England if Bumrah doesn't play? And who do you think could come in to kind of even do like half of what he is able to do, what he's capable of doing? How important is it for England that Bumrah doesn't play?
The thing is, India have had a bit of bad luck with a few injuries on in this series, really. It's a massive blow, Rishabh Pant with a bat. I think Jarrell's kept really well. I think he's been really good with the gloves. But he's a massive blow, isn't Pant. Bumrah, he was struggling with that ankle injury as well at Old Trafford. He did it walking down the stairs, did he? There's something stupid like that, I think. Whether he'll be fit to that, I don't know. Bumrah. Probably a similar situation with Jofra Archer. They're probably on the target and play in a certain number of Test matches, and I don't think I'd be surprised if either of them play in the final Test. It's tough, really. Maybe Krishna comes back in as the team bowler, but he's yet again not been too fantastic over the series, has it?
Here's the thing that I think about it. If someone like him, obviously he's the best, probably the best bowler in the world right now, Bumrah. If he's like got a little injury or something that he's carrying from Old Trafford, and there's a bit of doubt, then I can understand why he wouldn't play. And I know obviously they said that they only wanted to play 3 Test matches, but if there's nothing wrong with him and he's like perfectly fine, and India have a chance of winning, India have to win this game, I'd be very disappointed if he didn't play, just because they want him to only play 3. It just seems a bit.
I was kind of surprised when they said that he was only going to play 3 Test matches.
Wouldn't play this fight. You still draw it, I think.
Right. I want to say I was a bit surprised when India did say that he was only going to play the 3 Test matches. They're like backing themselves into a corner a little bit. But if he's fit, then I don't see why they wouldn't play him. The series is on the line. Why not play him?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I just feel like, I don't know. I hope he's fit. I hope he's ready, because if he's fully on it in this final Test, I know he definitely wasn't at Old Trafford, but nobody really was, to be fair. Obviously there's a lot of question marks about India's selection in the 4th Test. Kamboj coming in, which, not to sound mean, but is, I think, the most uninspiring pick ever for a 75-mile-an-hour bowler to come into this Test series. It didn't look a threat at all. I don't see how he can play this 5th Test. I don't see
it. It was weird. And it was more weird the fact that he were opening the bowling as well with Bumrah.
Yeah.
Bumrah and Siraj have been really good. Starting the bowling off. It was really, really weird that Kamboj were bowling straight off the bat. I think it's really, really weird. What do you think Siraj thinks of that, though? Because I think Siraj has yet again had a good series. Yeah, he's had his moments, hasn't he? And at times a lot of things have come back to bite him. But I actually think with the ball, he's a very, very dangerous bowler.
Yeah.
What do you think he would make of that?
I think he's had a good series. I just think he's been a bit unfortunate at times. But it's got to be a hard one, isn't it? Like, he's done really well. I think that he's done well, and this 75-mile-an-hour bowler just comes in, and even if the odd one swings, because he's so slow, England can just wait.
Yeah.
It was awful. I don't see how he can play the fifth. It's a testament to Siraj that he's most likely going to have to play all 5 Test matches.
Yeah.
It shows you what a fighter he is and what a warrior he is. So I hope Bumrah can play this last Test. I really do. I feel like it's such a massive thing for him. But India might just turn around and say, even if Bumrah and Siraj play, we might bring someone like Kuldeep in, because the thing with India in this series, I feel like they've been too reliant on getting a couple of bowlers who maybe can bat, as opposed to saying, well, let's get a bowling attack that can take 20 wickets, because that's what we've shown. Yeah. Someone like, even if it is a flat wicket or something, someone like Kuldeep can be that game changer that India need. So I hope they do something like that, because I feel like if they don't, and they stick with the same kind of bowlers like Kamboj and Thakur, and the 2 spinners on probably is another flat deck, I feel like they're going to struggle again against England's batting lineup. So I feel like they need something different. I do think Kuldeep should play. If not, then we'll have to look at the fitness of someone like Akashdeep or Arshdeep Singh. And then, it's there's a lot of question marks going into this series, going into this final Test match, about how India are going to go about it and how England are going to go about it as well. Do you think mentally, do you think the teams will go into it any differently? Do you think India might have more confidence after the draw, the fact they managed to kind of stage that great escape at Old Trafford? Do you feel like it's massively important for them that they go into this game confident, knowing that they can win, knowing that they have to win? Do you feel like it's important?
Of course. Yeah. England had that game in the palm of their hands, really, didn't they? And for how good India batted, England bowling were poor. I think India at the minute will feel confident because they've just got a brilliant result. But again, it all depends on the team. If India look at the India team and Bumrah's not there, suddenly England's tail goes up, doesn't it? And their eyes light up, and they think we've got a big chance here. Yeah. On the split side, it depends who's in the England team. If England are missing some key players, potentially Stoke, potentially Archer, then you're gonna have to say advantage India, aren't you? Because England will struggle to take 20 wickets if, for example, them 2 are unavailable. I would say India probably feeling the more confident, but it all changes. A 5-day game, it ebbs and flows, doesn't it? It could go either way. We've seen this all Test match. One minute you think it's in India's advantage, next minute it's England. India probably quite unfortunate in the 2 games that they've lost, especially the one at Lords, the one at Headingley. They kind of messed up. They dropped a few catches and they had a couple of tail end collapses. So India will feel though that they've probably played the better cricket, despite the fact that they're behind.
Yeah.
So I think India should feel the more confident of the 2 teams. England will be quite gutted if they didn't win the 4th Test and get it back. So, but it could go either way. Really go either way. It's going to be an enthralling game, isn't it? The last game.
Do you want to give us a prediction as an England fan, or are you not confident? Or do you want to give us a prediction?
I don't know. I really don't. I'm gonna go England, but I'm gonna go England now. But I do think it's a complete 50-50. If England England don't do draws. They don't like playing for draws. But I'd take a draw now. Snatch your hand off it. But I want to touch back on the point that obviously India have gone and got maybe a little bit of a difference. India have gone and got that draw at Old Trafford or Edgbaston. England were never reaching that total, never in a million years.
Yeah, no.
And they couldn't hold on for the draw. If England had done that, they might have had this Test series wrapped up.
Do you feel like
it's frustrating? Both teams have moments where they could have won it, could have lost it.
Do you feel like they should have batted differently at Edgbaston? And do you feel like if they were in that situation again, Do you feel like if they're in that situation again, they should bat differently to try and like save
I think,
get anything
yeah,
from it?
I think in hindsight, yeah, they definitely should have batted differently. I think if they were in that situation again, though, they wouldn't, because that's just not what they do.
Yeah,
They never try and play for draws, so which I think, but the thing is, when it's an extreme circumstance like that, what we're chasing 600 runs, over 600 runs, they were never going to catch it.
yeah,
They should have tried to bat for the draw. Like what he needed, that might be the defining moment. Really, it'll come down to that. If England have held out for a draw there, they'd have won the Test series already.
yeah. True. That's a good point, actually.
But I think both teams are probably kicking themselves a little bit.
Oh yeah,
Both teams probably feel that they could have had the Test series that up.
Yeah, definitely. Especially as an India fan after Lords, because even with all of India's high scoring, you think to yourself, it's only 193 runs. Like we should chase this down easily, but that's just the pressure of Test cricket. You know, England have definitely been able to play that pressure card better in this series than India have. But yeah, it's all going to come down to that final test, whether India can, because India will probably be in a similar situation. They're going to have to handle the pressure of that England bowling attack and everything. And they're just going to have to see if they're going to have to try and play it as best they can. And if they can do that, then yeah, they can definitely get something out of this game. Like, they can definitely win it if they can play that pressure card better. But if I had to give a prediction for the final test, to avoid jinxing it like Bilal did at Lords, I'm going to say England are going to win, just to avoid jinxing it. So I'm sitting on the fence.
To avoid jinxing it, I'm going to say India are going to win.
Nah, it's too late. It's too late. You've already made your prediction. You can't change it. All right. Well, that is all all we have time for today. Thank you very much, Luke, for coming in and stepping in.
No, thanks for having me. I've really enjoyed it.
First episode on the Six and Out podcast. Yeah, thank you very much for saving this episode and ensuring that we get another episode out. And hopefully we'll see you all next time. Goodbye.